For Rivals.com, I'm National Recruiting Analyst John Garcia Jr. alongside fellow recruiting analyst Sam Spiegelman out here at OT7 Day 2 in Tampa. About halfway through the day, we've already seen enough that we're like, hey, we got to get on camera and talk about the bounce back from these quarterbacks, these spectacular plays we've already been able to see. I want to start off with maybe the QB1 so far of this tournament, Luke Fahey, 2026 quarterback. I think the most patient quarterback we've seen, and a guy who shows so much touch in a day and age where we're so sort of enamored with velocity and the third level ball. And he's got that to his bag as well. But the touch and the layering that Luke Fahey shows really stands out, and the processing to go along with it. A bright future for the Rivals 250 quarterback.
Yeah, and keeping with that quarterback theme, we saw a big bounce back day from Notre Dame 4-star quarterback Deuce Knight. I saw him, he was extremely accurate today. He was taking a little bit more chances, not only outside the numbers, but in the red zone. Saw him rifle it into tight spots a couple of times, and Coastline, which is an all-Mississippi team, went 2-1 today. No surprise behind the great play from their stellar quarterback. Another quarterback, 9 touchdowns from Jonas Williams today from Midwest Boom. The way he throws in stride, his accuracy, the anticipation he's thrown with, he's had some really, and a couple of darts here and there. Oh, yeah. He's had a really spectacular day. On the receiving end, John, I know a couple of these slot receivers have caught your eye. Yeah,
it was a slot Saturday out here. You know, I think for Miami Raw, Malachi Toney, again, just one of the more steady performers in this setting. He took him deep for 6. He was, of course, great underneath, working that two-way go that all great slots are able to utilize. The Miami commitment, again, extremely impressive in person. Vance Spafford, we talked about Luke Fahey. Vance Spafford was clearly his #1 target, and those two hooked up for some big-time connections, particularly at that intermediate level. Front pylon, back pylon, those two are obviously in sync, and they're going to be tough to slow down throughout the rest of this tournament and, frankly, next year on Friday nights and in the 7-on-7 circuit. And then kind of a breakout slot prospect to talk about, Christian Neptune from the Panhandle, a guy who was hurt, originally from Hawaii. So his story is crazy, but his recruitment is about to get crazy. Legitimate sub-11-second speed. He's got official visits to the West Coast lined up. Missouri is interested. An explosive player both before and after the catch. So the slots really represented, but of course they weren't alone in the wide receiver realm.
Yeah, let's talk about some of the guys that worked on the outside. Let's start with Taylon Taylor, who from a recruiting standpoint could be closer than we think to making that decision, but Taylon Taylor was exceptional day 1 and again on day 2. Really strong hands. He's got an enormous catch radius, and you know, he may be 6'1", 6'1.5", or 6'2", but with his length, really no ball seems out of his realm. And then Jakaden Ferguson, probably the catch of the day, if not the catch of the weekend. One of the speedsters from Fort Bend Marshall out there in the Houston area. We know some schools like him at DB, but he's the catch of the day, a tough catch, leaping forward, and you saw that track speed where he separated 10 yards for the catch of the day. And the action-packed day 1 was definitely surpassed day 2, John. For more on that, go to Rivals.com for more.